And away we go. Episode 1354 of the Al Galdi podcast. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 2026.
With the first pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select AJ Dybantsa Jr. from Brigham Young University.
And there we had it. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver with the announcement. The Washington Wizards on Tuesday night took BYU's AJ Dybantsa with the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NBA Draft. That's who I wanted our team to take. That's who our team did take. We have the 2026 NBA Draft happening over Tuesday night, and Wednesday night is happening at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. Round 1 took place on Tuesday night. Round 2 will take place on Wednesday night beginning at 8. The Wizards have 3 picks in this draft, the numbers 1, 51, and 60 overall picks. No trades, at least not yet, from the Wizards in this draft. They stuck and picked at 1, and the Wizards on Tuesday night took AJ Dybantsa with that number 1 overall pick. What do you think? How we feeling? Is he the franchise player who the Wizards have so needed for so long? Hello and welcome to this Wednesday installment of the Al Galdi podcast. Good to have you with us. Next segment, reaction to and analysis of the Wizards taking AJ Dybantsa at 1, and discussion of the other major Wizards news item in recent days. Reports on Monday afternoon that Trae Young has agreed to re-sign with the Wizards via a 4-year contract worth approximately $212 million, including a player option for season number 4. That news has generated a lot of conversation. So next segment, a supersized Wizards segment on the selection of AJ Dybantsa and the mega money contract for Trae Young. But bottom line, this is the happiest that I've been as a Wizards fan in a long time. And I know that many of you are happy as Wizards fans. Still a long way to go. We are not planting a victory flag, okay? But we are encouraged. I know that I am very encouraged by where our team is at right now. It is nice to feel good about the Wizards off all of the problems for our team for so long, off our team being mocked by so many for so long.
The damn Washington Wizards.
Exactly. ESPN Stephen A. Smith, off our team being mocked by so many for so long. It is nice for our team to be in a very encouraging place. Also on the show, we have a big-time trade by the Washington Capitals to assess. The Caps on Tuesday evening announced having traded forwards Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin and the number 16 overall pick in the 2026 NHL Draft to the St. Louis Blues for forward Jordan Kyrou. I'll give you my analysis of the trade and what it perhaps tells us about the grade 8 winger Alex Ovechkin. And on the show, we'll talk Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles. The Nats, they on Tuesday evening lost a wild game, a 14-9 loss to the Philadelphia Phillies at Nationals Park on Tuesday evening in a game in which the Nats blew a 5-3 eighth-inning lead, overcame a 6-5 eighth-inning deficit, and blew an 8-6 ninth-inning lead by allowing 8 runs in the top of the 9th. A gut punch loss for the Nats. The O's, their 3-game winning streak is over. A 5-1 loss at the Los Angeles Angels late night on Tuesday night. Before we get to feedback, the Washington Commanders, they on Tuesday morning announced details of their 2026 training camp. The team will hold 5 open practices for all fans and 6 open practices for season ticket members. So the 5 open practices for all fans are on August 1st, 7th, 8th, 18th, and 19th. The 6 open practices for season ticket members are on August 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. All practices will begin at 8:30 a.m., but are subject to change. You can hit me up on X at Al Galdi. You can email me the Al Galdi podcast at yahoo.com. And in our quest for 2,000 ratings of the podcast, if you want Apple Podcasts, give the podcast a 5-star rating. On the podcast, we'll read whatever you write in writing a review of the podcast, but the review can include you saying something about sports. You don't just have to write about the podcast. Give the podcast a 5-star rating and tell me what you think about our Wizards right now. Do you approve of what the team did with the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NBA Draft? But email from Russell Fugit on why the Washington Commanders have not re-signed receiver Deebo Samuel Sr., who remains an unrestricted free agent. Yeah, Deebo's still out there. Writes Russell, hey Al, belated Happy Father's Day. Amongst all the talk about Brandon Ayuk and Stephon Diggs, I haven't heard any recent reporting as to why we have not re-signed Deebo Samuel. He led our team in receiving yards, catches, touchdowns, and big plays of 20 yards or more. Granted, McLaurin missed a lot of time last season, but Deebo was our most consistent player on offense. Do we know if he was at least offered another one-year deal? And if not, why not? Thank you for the email, Russell. I have been open and remain open to Washington re-signing Deebo. We don't know if Washington has made an offer to him this offseason, but the belief all along has been that the team was unlikely to re-sign him because what the team truly needs is another outside receiver, not another slot receiver or a gadget receiver. Washington has plenty of slot receivers in Antonio Williams, Luke McCaffrey, and Jalen Lane. Deebo ideally is a slot receiver, but he was productive last season, no doubt, and he remains really good at yards after catch. Deebo for the 2025 regular season per Pro Football Reference was number 6 among all qualified receivers in the NFL in yards after catch per reception, 6.47. Do you remember the catch that he had this past Christmas? Washington's 30-23 loss to the Dallas Cowboys at Northwest Stadium this past December 25th. 1st and 10 for Washington at the Cowboys 47 with 7:45 left in the first quarter. Quarterback Josh Johnson, a 41-yard shotgun fake toss completion to Deebo, who was sensational in generating 43 yards after the catch. And Deebo, in generating that yak, took off the helmet of safety Donovan Wilson, one of the best highlights of the season for Washington. Not that our team had many great highlights, but that play was outstanding. Here was the call on Netflix. You'll hear analyst Nate Burleson and then play-by-play announcer Ian Eagle.
A great job by Terry McLaurin. I know we'll talk about it throughout the game, but that dude right there has been balling despite having a ton of different quarterbacks. And here is Deebo.
Deebo Samuel off to the races. Samuel getting physical.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Major highlight for the Commanders as Donovan Wilson didn't know what hit him.
Yeah, man, that was some play. Deebo Samuel is entering his age 30 season, but the guy can still go. I would not have a problem with Washington re-signing him, but the team re-signing him does appear unlikely. And, part of that may well be the team waiting on the San Francisco 49ers to release receiver Brandon Ayuk. It'd be interesting to know if there was no chance of getting Ayuk, like if he was, totally happy and good with the Niners, would Washington already have re-signed Deebo? Hey, if you would like to grow your business or practice, consider advertising on this podcast, which just recently was the number 56 podcast in the country on Apple Podcasts in the U.S. football category. Podcast advertising works and is very affordable. Put the power of the pod to work for you. Get your message out there to thousands of successful people in the Washington, D.C. area. We'd love to have you on board. Email us to see what we can do for you. The email address is thealgaldypodcast@yahoo.com. Look, choosing life insurance is tricky. Heck, life insurance as a topic can be uncomfortable, but Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. You'll get your lowest rate from Ethos' network of trusted carriers. And know this, Ethos has a rating of 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 4,000 reviews. Take 10 minutes today to get covered with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Al Galdi. That's ethos.com/Al Galdi. Ethos.com/Al Galdi. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. Well, two of the most humbling stats in Washington, D.C. area sports have to do with the Washington Wizards. The Washington Bullets / Washington Wizards have not won at least 50 games in a regular season since the 1978-1979 regular season and have not advanced past the second round of the NBA playoffs since 1979. I am and always will be a Bullets / Wizards fan that I, in my life, have never seen this franchise win at least 50 games in a regular season or advance past the second round of the playoffs is painful. But is the pain ending? Are better days finally ahead for the Wizards? The Wizards on Tuesday night took BYU's AJ Dybantsa with the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NBA Draft. There was no surprise. There was no shocking twist. There was no trade. The Wizards did what many had expected. They took Dybantsa. The Wizards did what the prediction and betting markets had expected. The Wizards took Dybantsa. The Wizards did what I wanted. I wanted them to take Dybantsa, and they took him. He, for me, was the guy. Great combination of high floor and high ceiling, incredible athleticism, lethal scoring ability, and an alpha personality. There's a lot to like with the other top candidates to be taken by the Wizards at 1, Darren Peterson of Kansas, Cameron Boozer of Duke, but there are questions with each guy. With Peterson, this issue of him not playing in so many games this past season. Kansas, over this past regular season and postseason, played a total of 35 games. Peterson played in just 24 of those games as he dealt with severe cramping. With Boozer, there's the concern that he is a high floor, low ceiling player. Look, both Peterson and Boozer may well end up being great, but I like Dybantsa. I wanted Dybantsa, and the Wizards got Dybantsa. And now you look at what our team has. The Wizards, off their 3-season tank, have 2 established stars in Trae Young and Anthony Davis. And yes, we'll see if Davis actually sticks around. He may end up getting traded. Who knows? But even if he doesn't stick around, the Wizards have a nucleus of a number of promising young players, including Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington, Trey Johnson, Will Riley, and now AJ Dybantsa. And there are other Wizards players who are intriguing. I think about Justin Champagnie. All he seems to do is produce. May 25th, 2023, Monumental Sports and Entertainment founder and CEO Ted Leonsis announced that Michael Winger had been named president of Monumental Basketball. June 8th, 2023, the Wizards announced the hirings of Will Dawkins as general manager and Travis Schlenk as senior vice president of player personnel, and announced the promotion of John Thompson III to senior vice president of Monumental Basketball. This Wizards basketball operations regime has this team in its best situation since 2017. This is the best that I felt about the Wizards since May 12th. 2017, their 92-91 win over the Boston Celtics at Capital One Arena in Game 6 of an Eastern Conference semifinal series, forcing a Game 7 that, yes, our Wizards did lose. And, things got really bad for the Wizards after that. They have made the playoffs just once over the last 8 seasons. Are better days ahead. Let's talk AJ Dybantsa. He's just 19, was born on January 29th, 2007. He's from Brockton, Massachusetts. He went to Utah Prep Academy in Hurricane, Utah, was a consensus 5-star recruit for ESPN 24/7 Sports, On3, and Rivals. Dybantsa played college basketball for 1 season. He, for BYU in the 2025-2026 season, as a true freshman, started all 35 of the team's games over the regular season and postseason, averaging 34.8 minutes per game. He, for the 2025-2026 season, regular season, and postseason, was number 1 among all qualified Division I men's college basketball players in points per game at 25.5, and was number 1 among all Division I men's college basketball players in 2-point field goals, made free throws, and free throw attempts. He, for the season, was a consensus first-team All-American. He, over BYU's 4 postseason games, 3 conference tournament games, and 1 NCAA tournament game, had the following point totals: 40, 27, 26, and 35. Not bad. He and BYU's biggest games of the season was a scoring machine, and he is an athletic freak. The 2026 NBA Draft Combine took place in Chicago, went from this past May 10th through May 17th. Dybantsa at the Combine registered elite measurements for an NBA wing. He measured as being 6'8" and half of an inch barefoot and 217 pounds, with a wingspan of 7 feet and a quarter of an inch and a standing reach of 8'10". We all know how the NBA draft works. Teams draft as much on upside and potential as anything. Nothing is guaranteed. The best player in this draft could end up being, Darius Acuff Jr. out of Arkansas. The Sacramento Kings took him with the number 7 overall pick. Who knows? But given what we do know, AJ Dybantsa, to me, was the right pick for the Wizards, and that is who they took. Here was ESPN's breakdown of the Wizards taking AJ Dybantsa with the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NBA Draft. You'll hear host Malika Andrews and then ESPN NBA Draft and college basketball analyst Jay Billis.
He's talked about being number 1. He's expected, he has manifested, and now he is certainly that. And in his lone season at BYU, he scored the most points by a freshman in Big 12 history behind his favorite player, Kevin Durant. And the Brockton native there is very important to him that it was specifically Brockton and not the Boston area. He was a finalist for the Naismith, the Wooden Awards. He's not just got the skills, he has the charisma and the confidence to be a franchise player.
And the mentality of a true pro. And he's the first freshman, he averaged 25 a game, Malika, and the first freshman to lead the nation in scoring in a quarter century. He's built for the NBA. All his measurables, he's 6'8", he's got a 7-foot wingspan. All the athletic tools. He had the 4th best max vertical at the combine. He attacks downhill. He's a 3-level scorer that's continuing to improve his 3-point accuracy. But where he is devastating is at the mid-range with those long strides. He can make NBA-level shots right now oversized. He can post, he can back you in and shoot over the top. His mid-range game is elite, and he's also got open court abilities. Excellent in transition, and he can get to the foul line. He led the NCAA in free throw attempts, and when Richie Saunders, one of BYU's top scorers and best shooter, went out this year, he increased his productivity in his absence against much more focused defense to stop him. I think he can be an excellent defender. He's still working on that, but he's got all the tools to be a great NBA player.
Yes, he does. This was NBA draft analyst Jonathan Gavoni, founder of Draft Express, on the Zach Lowe Show podcast in an installment that came out this past Friday, June 19th.
AJ Dybantsa is going to be a 25-point-per-game scorer in the NBA. He's an incredible talent in his own right. I'm just not sure that he's somebody that you can win a championship with. With his style of play, really ball dominant, mid-range, Bowie ball, tunnel vision, inattentive at times defensively. I'm worried about that. Now, Darren Peterson, there was a lot of chill there this season, and we didn't see that extra gear that was so tantalizing in high school, where he's just, playing off that right-handed hezzy and just blowing by people and finishing above the rim. We saw that in really small doses this year, but it wasn't as consistently as we saw AJ Dybantsa. AJ Dybantsa has this incredible will to score, this insatiable hunger to put the ball in the basket that I missed from Darren Peterson. I was really disappointed in the way that he went out. That last game against St. John's, he had 21 points still, Darren Peterson, but down the stretch, it's man, go take the ball from Melvin Council and go win this game. He was really playing the 3. It was all these bad shots from Trey White and Melvin Council. And okay, some of that is on the coaching staff. They were kind of unrecognizable, in terms of what you normally expect to see from Kansas. Bill Self was obviously, he wasn't healthy this year. And so I wonder, if we saw the best version of Darren Peterson, what I cannot let go of what I saw, the whole week in Brooklyn at the McDonald's All-American game, every practice, every scrimmage, the game, that whole season of prolific prep, that incredible game against, Dybantsa, where the guy averaged 30 points a game, 7 assists, he made incredible shots all year in high school I'm talking about. And, that really has stuck with me. And that's why Peterson has been number 1 on my board all year. And from what we're hearing, that version of him
it's been on full display, like in the pre-draft process, in workouts, in LA. He's playing against NBA players every day. And people are saying, like, this guy is going to be a superstar in the NBA. And I'm sure if that's what Washington saw in their private workout, that's going to be really, really hard to let go of.
Very interesting analysis from Jonathan Givony on AJ Dybantsa versus Darren Peterson. The pressure on the Wizards on Tuesday night to get what they did with that number 1 overall pick right was immense. I mean, you really can't overstate the importance of the Wizards getting what they did with that number 1 overall pick right. The bar wasn't getting a nice player or a good player. The bar was getting a franchise player, a transformational player, a guy who becomes a top 5, top 8 player in the NBA. What happened with Darren Peterson this past season was concerning. And while there are questions with AJ Dybantsa, including his defense, the questions do not include intangibles, which, as we know, can wreck a player. Will Dawkins did a press conference late night on Tuesday night. This was Dawkins during the opening statement of his presser, and then we'll hear an exchange between David Aldridge of The Athletic and Dawkins.
Adding for us a player that just has a rare combination in AJ. He is a special person. I can't wait for you guys to get to meet him. I can't wait for the city to really embrace him. He's already started his own foundation and giving back to people back in Massachusetts, Jamaica, Africa. Like, he really is about where he wants to be. And special person and special athlete. Like, that's the combination that the city's going to get behind. And for me, it's cool when you kind of go through these experiences and you meet these guys and they want to be here. And they see what's going on and they want to be a part of that. And that was absolutely what AJ was telling us from the very beginning. And we want him here, and I can't wait to meet him on the plane tomorrow. So we're getting a difference maker in the community, but we're definitely getting a difference maker on the basketball court. There's no doubt about that. He is special. What I would want our fans to know night one is that he is a worker. He is a passionate person who loves basketball and will continue to work and get better. And he's just a competitor. He sees a challenge and he attacks it. And I've seen that from a very young age to where he is now. And he has a humility about him that he knows how good he is, but he wants to keep working so he can reach the highest level. So I'll probably let him speak for that when he gets here. But the worker, the passion, the competitiveness, like, you feel it when you bring him into our organization, you bring him into the room, and he wants to be a part of the group. He wants to get together with his teammates. He's already talked to them, and he wants to help build this thing into something that could be sustainable. And that's what we liked about him, among other things. But with that, I'll kind of open it up and let you guys ask me anything about tonight.
In a very, very talented and deep draft where you could have picked, you had your choice of the whole room, what was the separator for him?
Yeah, very deep draft. I think for us, it was about making sure we picked the right player that would fit with our group and have an opportunity to push us forward. And at the end of the day, it became pretty clear that he was that guy just because of his versatility. We're looking for guys who can continue to make decisions with the ball, without the ball, but also be dual impact players on both ends. He's a superior athlete. By our measures, he's the best athlete that we've tested since Michael and I's regime has been here. So you see that. You see the playmaking. Obviously, he led college basketball in scoring as a freshman. I think the last person to do that was Trae Young. So obviously we have some offensive engines, but he's got a lot of upside on the defensive end and knows what he's about, a very smart basketball player. We put him in the film room, and he learned really quickly, was honest, knew the plays, and knew what he could talk about. So there's a high level of basketball IQ mixed with a superior athlete and an elite skill level. It was just hard to pass on. There was plenty of good players in this draft, but he was the one for us.
It has been a wild last few days as a Wizards fan, given not just what happened on Tuesday night, but also the big news that came out on Monday afternoon. Reports that the Wizards and Trae Young had agreed on a 4-year contract worth approximately $212 million, including a player option for season number 4. We late night last Wednesday night, June 17th, had reports that Young planned to decline his player option for the 2026-2027 season what was a $48.967 million player option per Hoops Hype, but the reporting also was that he was likely to re-sign with the Wizards. The expectation was that he was going to re-sign with the Wizards along the lines of, say, 3 years, $120 million. Like, that's what kept coming up. 3 years, $120 million. Instead, the Wizards are giving him 4 years, $212 million. A mega money contract, and this has been a big topic over the last few days. Now, the reporting is that Young, as an unrestricted free agent, was set to receive max contract offers, so the Wizards are re-signing him to the equivalent of a max contract with another team, but not with them. They're re-signing him for about $75 million less than the max contract that they could have given him. But still, 4 years, $212 million for Trae Young. That's a lot of money. This was ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst in an installment of his podcast, Brian Windhorst and the Hoop Collective, in an episode that came out early Tuesday morning.
I think this is instantaneously one of the worst contracts in the league. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I said it that way. I don't mean to be mean.
You can't trade
I don't think they could trade this contract unless they attach the number one pick to it.
Well, that right there was rather harsh from Brian Windhorst, calling the Trae Young contract instantly one of the worst contracts in the NBA. Here's what doesn't make sense, though. If that contract is so bad, then why were other teams willing to give Trae Young a max contract? And if other teams weren't willing to give Young a max contract, then why'd the Wizards give him the equivalent of a max contract from another team? Like, why would the Wizards do that? Unless you think Michael Winger and Will Dawkins are low IQ, why would they just hand Trae Young 4 years, $212 million when there wasn't much of a market for Trae Young, unless there was a market for Trae Young? There is intel here that we need, but do not have. Keep in mind, too, there's no such thing as an untradeable contract. And our team is proof of that. The Washington Bullets / Washington Wizards, if you know the history of our franchise over the years has had a ton of bad contracts that the team was able to trade. Juwan Howard, Gilbert Arenas, John Wall, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. The list goes on and on and on. Now, you don't want bad contracts, but it is fake news to say that, the Trae Young contract is so bad that it is untradeable. No NBA contract is untradeable. But man, Windhorst saying that the Wizards would have had to attach their number one overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft to trade this Trae Young contract, that was rough. In Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, I do trust. But I do hope that our team gets this right with Trae Young. Trae Young is entering his age 28 season and is a true point guard. And Winger and Dawkins may well believe that this is how to take the Wizards' young nucleus of players, now led by AJ Dybantsa, to a higher level. We know that Winger and Dawkins really like Young. Winger raved about Young in an appearance on the Ryan Russillo Show podcast in an installment that came out on May 13th. But the truth is that Trae Young has been really bad defensively, has missed a lot of games due to injury in recent seasons, and was no longer wanted by the Atlanta Hawks. The Wizards, this past January 9th, announced having traded CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert to the Hawks for Young. Young for the Wizards in the NBA's 2025-2026 regular season played in just 5 of a possible 42 games. He did not play in each of the team's first 25 games, often acquiring him due to a right knee sprain and a right quadriceps contusion, and he did not play in each of the Wizards' final 12 games due to re-injuring his right quadriceps and due to lower back irritation. Now, how much of this was him being truly injured versus the Wizards tanking? Hard to say, but here's what we do know. The Hawks were willing to part with Trae Young. The Hawks felt that they were better off without Trae Young. The idea of Trae Young elevating the Wizards' key young players sounds great, and I hope, like heck, that idea proves to be correct. But the Hawks did not believe in that idea. That's for sure. He is, though, an assist machine. Trae Young for the 2021-2022 2023-2024 and 2024-2025 regular seasons was number one among all qualified NBA players in assist percentage. Per Basketball Reference, assist percentage is an estimate of a percentage of teammates' field goals on which a player assisted while playing. Additionally, how about this? Trae Young is number three among all qualified players in NBA history in regular season assists per game, 9.78. Number one is Washington Commanders limited partner Magic Johnson, 11.19. Number two is John Stockton, 10.51. And number three is Trae Young, 9.78. That is something. Magic, number one. Stockton, number two. Trae Young, number three. And I like this from Yahoo Sports podcaster and writer Kevin O'Connor on Tuesday afternoon in a post on X. Quote, as a longtime Trae Young critic/skeptic, I just want to say that Young has gone from overrated to underrated. Did the Wizards overpay? Sure. But worst contract in the NBA? No way. Joel Embiid, De'Aaron Fox, and Christian Braun definitely have worse contracts. Trae is still an excellent passer, and with some tweaks to his usage, he could become a far more efficient scorer. Just needs more shots off the catch and less wild jumpers off the dribble. It really is simple. Washington has AJ Dybantsa, Anthony Davis, Trey Johnson, Alex Sarr, and a whole bunch of talented young ball handlers, so I can't see any way how Trae dominates the ball nearly as much as he did in Atlanta. It's possible that at age 28 next season, we could even see the best version ever of Trae. End quote. There you go. Reason for optimism with Trae Young, but certainly reason for optimism with the Wizards. I, like so many of you, am a Wizards fan, and I am very happy with where our team is at. Hey, if you have a case, contact Chris Nace, the Nace Law Group. Accident and injury lawyers that will fight for you and win for you. Lead attorney Chris Nace is a big Washington Commanders fan and big supporter of this podcast, and his firm wins trials. So just recently, an $8 million jury verdict in Baltimore City Circuit Court. If you have a case, contact the Nace Law Group. Call 202-902-7611 or visit Washington, D.C., injurylawyers.com and tell the Nace Law Group that Al Galdi sent you. The Nace Law Group is tremendous. It is a Washington, D.C.-based family law firm that handles medical malpractice, personal injury, birth injury, legal malpractice, and consumer protection cases, offering aggressive advocacy for victims in Washington, D.C. and West Virginia. If you feel that you've been wronged, if you think that you've been wronged but aren't sure, contact the Nace Law Group and schedule a no-obligation appointment. Call 202-902-7611 or visit Washington, D.C., injurylawyers.com and tell the Nace Law Group that Al Galdi sent you. Well, the 2026 NHL Draft is this weekend. Round 1 is on Friday night. Rounds 2 through 7 are on Saturday. This year's draft is happening at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. The Washington Capitals traditionally make a big move or even multiple big moves around the time of an NHL Draft. And the Caps on Tuesday evening announced a major trade. The Caps on Tuesday evening announced having traded forwards Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin and the number 16 overall pick in the 2026 NHL Draft to the St. Louis Blues for forward Jordan Kyrou. The Caps had 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, the numbers 16 and 18 overall picks. That number 16 overall pick now is gone. The Caps do still have the number 18 overall pick. They got that pick via the trade of defenseman John Carlson to the Anaheim Ducks in a trade that was announced this past March 6th, what was 2026 NHL trade deadline day. But yeah, the Caps have acquired Jordan Kyrou, K-Y-R-O-U. The 2026-2027 season will be Kyrou's age 28 season. He has 5 seasons remaining on an 8-year, $65 million contract extension that he signed with the Blues in September 2022. So he's under contract through the 2030-2031 season. Now, the Caps have bought low on Kyrou. He, in the 2025-2026 regular season, had his lowest goal total, 18, lowest assist total, 28, lowest point total, 46, and lowest games played total, total 72 over 5 regular seasons, but Kyrou for the Blues was durable and productive. He, over the last 5 regular seasons, played in 389 of a possible 410 games for the Blues. Kyrou, over these last 5 regular seasons, had these rankings on the Blues. Number 1 in goals, 149. Number 1 in power play goals, 35. Number 1 in even strength goals, 114. Number 1 in shots on goal, 1,123. Number 1 in games played, 389. Number 2 in points, 331. Number 2 in power play points, 94. And number 3 in assists, 182. So his overall body of work is good. You look at him, he's young, durable, productive, and under contract for years to come. A lot to like there. Kyrou is a winger. He immediately becomes a top 9 player for the Caps in terms of the team's lines. He's a set 'em and forget 'em winger on any of the Caps' top 3 lines. But something that does especially stand out about this trade is the Caps giving up on Connor McMichael, who for years was viewed as one of the Caps' most promising young players. The Caps took McMichael with the number 25 overall pick in the 2019 NHL Draft. He, for the Caps in 315 NHL regular season games, had 67 goals and 87 assists. Had a nice 2024-2025 regular season, 26 goals, 31 assists in 82 games. But he, this past regular season, had just 14 goals and 32 assists in 78 games. He's entering his age 26 season and is set to become a restricted free agent this offseason. The Caps clearly would rather pay Jordan Kyrou than pay Connor McMichael. The fear would be that McMichael could blossom, but, he at this point has been in the NHL long enough to where the Caps may well believe that he is what he is going to be. As for Milton Gastrin, the Caps took him in the second round of the 2025 NHL Draft. He, among players in that draft, was ranked number 3 among all international skaters by NHL Central Scouting. Make no mistake, the Caps gave up a good bit to get Jordan Kyrou. I mentioned the Caps buying low on him. They did, but they still gave up Connor McMichael, Milton Gastrin, and the number 16 overall pick in the 2026 NHL Draft. But there is a benefit of the doubt that Caps President of Hockey Operations Brian McClellan and Caps Senior Vice President and General Manager Chris Patrick have earned. And, you look at this trade, you think about this trade, you process this trade. This is a trade that speaks to the Caps trying to win now. And that would be in accordance with what we expect to be the case actually being the case. Winger Alex Ovechkin returning for his 22nd NHL season, what would be his age 41 season. We shall see. So Tuesday was June 23rd, 2026, the 15-year anniversary of Jim Riggleman's shocking resignation as Washington Nationals manager. Do you remember that? The stunning Jim Riggleman resignation on June 23rd, 2011. Tuesday, though, also was the 5-year anniversary of a crazy game between the Nats and Philadelphia Phillies. June 23rd, 2021. A 13-12 Nats win at the Phillies in a game that lasted for 4 hours and 19 minutes. The game featured the two teams combining for 25 runs, 27 hits, and 14 walks. The two teams combined to use 14 pitchers. The game was the first regular season game in MLB history in which each team hit a grand slam and a 3-run homer. The Nats scored 11 runs over the 5th and 6th innings. The Nats overcame deficits of 5-0 in the 5th inning, 9-5 in the 6th inning, and 12-11 in the 9th inning. That game was bonkers. Well, the Nats and Phillies on June 23rd, 2026 also played a crazy game. Happy Jim Riggleman Day. I hope that Jim Riggleman was watching this game on Tuesday evening. A 14-9 Nats loss to the Phillies at Nationals Park on Tuesday evening in Game 2 of a 4-game series. This was a game in which the Nats blew a 5-3 8th-inning lead, overcame a 6-5 8th-inning deficit, and blew an 8-6 9th-inning lead by allowing 8 runs in the top of the 9th. This game was absurd. The Nats in MLB's 2026 regular season now are 41-39 with a run differential of +10. The Phillies in this regular season now are 43-36 with a run differential of -2. The Nats now are 2.5 games behind the Phillies for the National League's second of 3 wild card spots. The Nats in this game on Tuesday evening used 8 pitchers, including 6 pitchers beyond opener P.J. Poulin and bulkman Zach Littell. Mitchell Parker officially allowed 1 run in 1 and a third innings. He, in the top of the 7th, was charged with a run off sandwiching 2 singles around and out. Orlando Revolta officially tossed a perfect inning. He faced 3 batters and got 3 outs. Richard Lovelady officially allowed 3 runs in a third of an inning. He would ended up being a 3-run 8th for the Phillies. Faced 4 batters, but got just 1 out as he gave up a 1-out double, issued a 2-out walk, and then issued a 2-out hit by pitch. Clayton Beeter officially tossed a third of a scoreless inning, but that is rather misleading. He came into the game in the top of the 8th with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and that's up 5-3. And Beeter, to the first batter he faced, gave up a 2-out full count opposite field 3-run double by JT Realmuto for a 6-5 Phillies lead. Right fielder James Wood nearly made a diving catch for the 3rd out, but the ball came out of his glove, and he then bobbled the ball in trying to retrieve it. Wood earlier in the inning committed a fielding error on a went-out double by Brandon Marsh off the warning track in right center field. James Wood had a rough game. He is the Nats starting right fielder and number 1 batter, went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Then we had what happened with Brad Lord, who had been so good, but he officially allowed 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Lord, in the top of the 9th, struck out each of the Phillies' first 2 batters, but he then allowed each of the Phillies' next 6 batters to reach base. He gave up a 2-out single by ex-Nat Trae Turner to left center field, a 2-out 2-run homer by Brandon Marsh to right field to tie the game at 8, a 2-out single by ex-Nat Bryce Harper to right field, a 2-out single by pinch hitter Derek Hill to left field, and a 2-out first pitch 3-run homer by Bryson Stott to right field for an 11-8 Phillies lead. And Lord then issued a 2-out 5-pitch walk of JT Realmuto. And then we had Paxton Schultz. He officially allowed 2 runs in a third of an inning. He faced 5 batters, but got just 1 out as he gave up a 2-out 2-run double by Edmundo Sosa off the top of the outfield wall in center field for a 13-8 Phillies lead, and gave up a 2-out opposite field RBI single by Trae Turner to right field on an 0-2 pitch for a 14-8 Phillies lead. And the Nats late night on Tuesday night announced having optioned Schultz to AAA Rochester. Just a horrendous game for Nats relievers. The Nats for this regular season now have the following relief pitching stats: ERA of 4.93, WHIP of 1.44, 58 home runs allowed, by far the worst such total in MLB. Look, there is no mystery what the Nats' biggest weakness is. It is the bullpen. And the Nats in this season number 1 of a restarted rebuild have been so much better than anyone anticipated. It's hard for me to get that angry at the Nats for any singular loss. But man, this was a rough loss, and this bullpen is really bad, really bad. And Tuesday evening was maybe the low point for the bullpen this season. The Nats in this 14-9 loss to the Phillies at Nationals Park on Tuesday evening used an opener who was relief pitcher P.J. Poulin. He did well. He tossed a perfect top of the first as he in this regular season continues to do well as an opener. 10 starts, ERA of 2.03, WHIP of 0.98. And then starting pitcher Zach Littell came into the game to serve as the Nats bulk pitcher. He allowed 2 runs in 4 innings with 5 strikeouts versus no walks. It did give up 5 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 3 singles, but he threw a lot of strikes, 59 pitches, 42 strikes, just 17 balls. So Littell in the top of the 5th allowed 2 runs as he gave up a 2-out first pitch, 2-run homer by Edmundo Sosa to left center field to cut the Nats lead to 5-2. But Littell was better as compared to his previous outing. He and the Nats 6-2 loss to the Kansas City Royals at Nationals Park last Wednesday afternoon, June 17th, was bad for a second consecutive outing off having been good at each of 5 consecutive outings. He in that game allowed 4 runs in 5 innings, including giving up 4 home runs. So you look at Zach Littell now in this regular season, 16 games, including 11 starts, ERA of 5.40, whip of 1.37, 21 home runs allowed, tied for the most homers allowed in MLB. A shame of this 14-9 loss to the Phillies at Nationals Park on Tuesday evening was that the Nats, again, were so good offensively. 9 runs, 9 hits, which were 2 home runs, a double, and 6 singles, 4 walks, 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, 3 for 3 on stolen bases. But adding to the absurdity of this game, the Nats scored 9 runs despite striking out a whopping 17 times. The Philly starting pitcher was former Nats prospect Jesus Luzardo, and he had one of the strangest final lines that you'll ever see a starting pitcher have. He allowed 5 runs in 6 2/3 innings. That's really bad. But he had 13 strikeouts versus 3 walks. That's really good. Also, no C.J. Abrams. He was to be the Nats starting shortstop and number 4 batter, but he was scratched due to left side tightness. However, the Phillies were without one of their best batters, as ex-Nat Kyle Schwarber was to be the Phillies starting DH and number 2 batter, but he was scratched due to lower back tightness. Jorbeat Bibas. He is the Nats starting second baseman and number 5 batter, went 2 for 3 with a 3-run homer, a single, and a walk. Bibas in the Nats 3-run 8th had a 3-run homer to right center field for an 8-6 Nats lead. The homer went a projected 410 feet per StatCast and came off him having tried to bunt earlier in the plate appearance. Again, this game was absurd. Luis Garcia Jr., he in the Nats 1-run 9th, had a pinch 2-out opposite field solo homer to left center field on a 1-2 pitch to cut the Nats deficit to 14-9. Garcia, for this regular season, now has an OPS of 771, including a 484 slugging percentage. Nasim Nunez, he is the Nats starting shortstop and number 7 batter, went 1 for 3 with a 2-run single and a walk, and he went 2 for 2 on stolen bases, improving to 31 for 34 on stolen bases in this regular season. He has been outstanding on stolen bases. Nunez in the Nats 4-run 4th had a 2-out, bases-loaded first pitch, 2-run single to left field for a 3-0 Nats lead, and he had a stolen base. So the Nats, in that bottom of the 4th, scored 4 runs on 4 singles and a walk. Nunez, for this month of June now, has an OPS of 977. And Dylan Cruz, he is a Nats starting left fielder and number 4 batter, went 2 for 4 with 2 singles and a hit by pitch. An absurd game, a brutal loss. This was Nats manager Blake Butera during his postgame press conference on Tuesday night.
Ton of emotions there. Obviously giving up the lead in the 8th. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Woody goes after that ball, dives in his glove, comes out. Yeah, I mean, you're frustrated in the moment, but knowing what our offense is capable of, we still felt we were in it. Then the bottom of the 8th there, first 2 guys get on. Vivas hits a 3-run shot to put us ahead by 2. We're feeling great, of course. And then we have Brad Lord coming out for the 9th, who's been unbelievable all year long and felt as good as we could have in that situation. He gets the first 2 guys out and then gives up the base hit to Turner, and then things just went absolutely sideways there. And about as frustrating of a loss as we've seen, as I've ever been a part of, and in front of a great crowd against this team that we know is a huge series. At the end of the day, I'm curious to see how we bounce back. I'm curious to see how we respond to this.
Well, I would be surprised if the Nats do not respond well to this loss. Remember, they on June 10th suffered that hideous 11-10 walk-off loss at the San Francisco Giants in a game in which the Nats blew a 9-1 8th-inning lead and a 10-6 9th-inning lead, and the Nats then won 4 of their next 5 games. But yeah, Tuesday evening was rough. Of that, there is no doubt. The Nats, as surprisingly good as they've been, are in season number 1 of a restarted rebuild. Like, losses like this are going to happen. Game 3 for the Nats against the Phillies at Nationals Park, Wednesday evening at 6:45. The Nats have listed Miles Michaelis as their probable starting pitcher for the game. Look, choosing life insurance is tricky. Heck, life insurance as a topic can be uncomfortable, but Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. You'll get your lowest rate from Ethos' network of trusted carriers. And know this, Ethos has a rating of 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 4,000 reviews. Take 10 minutes today to get covered with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/Al Galdi. That's ethos.com/Al Galdi. Ethos.com/Al Galdi. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. So the Baltimore Orioles in MLB's 2026 regular season now have had 6 different 3-game winning streaks, but not a single winning streak of at least 4 games. A 5-1 loss at the Los Angeles Angels late night on Tuesday night in Game 2 of a 3-game series. The loss snapped, yes, a 3-game winning streak. The O's in MLB's 2026 regular season now are 38-43 with a run differential of -24. The Angels in this regular season now are an American League worst 33-48. The O's in this game did basically nothing offensively. Just 1 run, just 3 hits, all of which were singles, just 2 walks, just 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. 13 strikeouts. So the O's got work by Angel starting pitcher Ryan Johnson. He tossed 6 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts versus 1 walk. The Orioles starting pitcher was Shane Baz. Disappointing outing for him. He allowed 5 runs in 5 innings, gave up 8 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 6 singles. Did have 5 strikeouts versus 1 walk, and did throw a lot of strikes. 91 pitches, 61 strikes, just 30 balls. He in the bottom of the first allowed 2 runs. He in the bottom of the 5th allowed 3 runs. So the homer that he gave up came in that bottom of the first, during which he gave up a 1-out 2-run homer by Nolan Schanuel to right center field for a 2-0 Angels lead. Shane Baz now for this regular season, 16 games, all starts, ERA of 4.31, whip of 1.38. And the O's in this 5-1 loss at the Angels late night on Tuesday night used just 1 relief pitcher, who was Albert Suarez. He was really good. He tossed 3 scoreless and hitless innings with 3 strikeouts versus 1 walk. Game 3 for the O's at the Angels Wednesday afternoon at 4:07. The O's have listed Trey Gibson as their probable starting pitcher for the game. And that'll do it for you and me for now, but there's more to come. Thursday's show, episode 1355, will provide you with more on the Washington Commanders. Also on Thursday's show, I'll talk Washington Wizards, Washington Nationals, and Baltimore Orioles. We on Wednesday night have the second round of the 2026 NBA Draft. The Nats are home to the Philadelphia Phillies Wednesday evening at 6:45 for Game 3 of a 4-game series. The O's are at the Los Angeles Angels Wednesday afternoon at 4:07 for Game 3 of a 3-game series. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll talk to you on Thursday.
With the first pick in the 2026 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select AJ Dybantsa Jr. from Brigham Young University.